All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me here for today's trending topic class. My name is Charlotte Scheid, and I'm one of the Giant Company's dietitians, and we have a wonderful topic for today, and it's perfect for summertime, but of course important also throughout the year. But it is on hydration. So the topic for today is hydration and health, the good, sweet, and energized. So we're going to be talking about all about hydration and sweetened beverages, and definitely giving you some recipe inspirations on how to stay hydrated because it is so important to do so. All right. And actually, what I wanted to do before we get into hydration, I'm going to do a poll just to ask everybody, what is your go-to beverage? Um, go-to beverage. So let me pull up that poll here. All right. So what is your go-to beverage when you're thirsty? So we have water, coffee, tea, juice, or soda energy drink. I guess I should have put another category too, but that's okay. So give everybody a couple seconds to answer that. All right, well, I am delighted with this response. So let me go ahead and end the poll. I'll share the results. So it looks like a lot of you definitely go to water, which is absolutely wonderful. It's definitely the beverage of choice that you want to have, just because obviously water is so beneficial for us. But again, a few with coffee and tea, which I love a good cup of coffee, some juice, and then soda energy drink as well. So for those of you who that is your go-to beverage that is not water, hopefully this class today will inspire you to have water as or being your first beverage of choice. So thanks everybody for answering that. Alrighty, so why focus on hydration this summer? So first of all, because of the heat and humidity. So when there is a lot of heat and humidity, it increases how much water our body loses through sweat and breathing. So we definitely want to just, keep drinking water and to stay hydrated for that reason. But it's also really beneficial for temperature regulation. So it helps our body to sweat to help it to cool down. So when we do not have enough water in our body or hydration, we are at a higher risk for heat stroke because we're not able to produce that sweat that the body needs in order to cool down. It's also really important for energy and focus. I know I definitely, when I don't drink enough water, I definitely feel like I cannot concentrate, feel very fatigued and tired. So it's very beneficial for energy and focus. So even just mild dehydration can cause headaches and definitely make it difficult to, think, concentrate, and get what we need done. It's very beneficial for heart and circulation. So, especially when it's really hot out, I know that I experience like I can tell like my heart is working harder. You can feel it, especially if you're dehydrated, you can feel it kind of pounding a little bit harder. So heat definitely makes the heart work harder. So adequate fluids help to reduce strain on your heart. It's also very important for muscle function. So I know if I'm outside and it's really hot, maybe not drinking as much as what I need. I can definitely feel like my muscles are cramping up. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but hydration definitely helps to prevent muscle cramps and also helps to support muscle performance as well. And then in the summertime, even in the wintertime as well, our skin can become very dry, so water helps to support that skin hydration. It helps also to keep our digestion regular too. So helps us feeling good. So all good reasons to stay hydrated this summer, even though I know summer is kind of coming to a close. But again, really hydration for the year. There's a lot of different benefits, but especially in the summertime. So hydration is key. So you can see on the right-hand side, this image is a little bit blurry, but that's the different parts of our body, how much water it takes up. So you can definitely see like the brain and blood, heart, bones, muscle, liver, and kidneys, a lot of water in these areas. So we know again that water is the most essential nutrient for life. Over half of our body is made from water, so around 60%. So like what I was mentioning before, water should be the first beverage of choice if we're able to do so. So the CDC suggests that men consume about 125 ounces or around 15 cups of water per day, and then women around 91 ounces, which is about 11 cups per day. So including water from all sources. But of course, our daily water needs vary depending on our age, gender, body size, activity level. Definitely, if you are physically active, you definitely need a lot more water intake. And of course, with climate, if it is hotter out, you might need a little bit more water consuming that daily. So again, hydration is key, and then water is definitely very beneficial for our body. So like what I was mentioning with water, so definitely a vital nutrient to the life of every cell. So acts first as a building material, helps to regulate that internal body temperature, what I was mentioning before by sweating and respiration. Carbohydrates and proteins that our body use as food are metabolized and transported by water in the bloodstream. So definitely how those nutrients get throughout the body. That's why we need water in that regard. It also helps to assist in flushing waste, mainly through urination, acts as a shock absorber for brain, spinal cord, and fetus, and then forms saliva, and also helps to lubricate our joints. So you can see in very different areas water is, we definitely need water for those. They're just to help the body to function correctly. So what is dehydration? So I don't know if anybody has experienced these signs or symptoms. So these are considered kind of mild signs or symptoms, but if you're experiencing these, definitely try to increase that water intake. So basically, dehydration happens when your body loses more fluids than what it takes in or what you're drinking. So signs and symptoms can be thirst, dry mouth, lips, or tongue. Can be that dark yellow concentrated urine, or you may be not urinating as much. If you're having headaches, fatigue, low energy, I know those are some of my symptoms I can recognize when I'm not drinking enough water. Definitely that fatigue. But if you're feeling dizzy, lightheaded, and then muscle cramps are all signs of dehydration. So if you're experiencing those, definitely think about how much that you are drinking. Okay, so kind of going towards sugary drinks. So I know that some of you said that like energy drinks are your go-tos and those types of things. And there's so many different types of beverages that contain sugar, but sugary beverages is not just soda. So it can be things like lemonade or other aids like limeade. It can be sweet and iced tea or even coffees, especially if you're getting coffee out. A lot of the different lattes or shaken espressos or whatnot, they definitely have a lot or can have a lot of sugar in them. And even if you're putting in some coffee creamer, that can be, some added sugar as well. But then sports drinks, energy drinks, even things like the vitamin water, you'd be surprised at how much sugar is in that. Fruit pouches or fruit drinks. So definitely if something is not 100% juice, or if it doesn't say that, if you look at the nutrition facts label, you can always see how much added sugar will be in those. But sometimes that's surprising too, how much sugar is in those fruit pouches or fruit drinks. Also tonic water, so a mixture of kind of carbonation, sweeteners, and flavorings like citrus. Those seem to be popular, or even flavored milk. So basically, my point is that if something is sweet and it's in a bottle, it's definitely worth checking the nutrition facts label because you never know how much sugar is in a beverage. So let's talk a little bit about the truth about sugar. So obviously sugar kind of sneaks into our daily life, and this can be through if we're eating cereal or even yogurt, granola bar as a snack, even ketchup can have some added sugar in it, even pasta sauce, salad dressing. And there's obviously if we're consuming too much sugar, it can lead to a whole variety of different issues, such as cavities, especially if you have kids. That's something to be concerned about, or adults too. But if you're consuming a lot of sugar, it can lead to type 2 diabetes, unhealthy weight gain, also a lot of heart conditions, so heart disease, like and related conditions like high blood pressure and high cholesterol. So basically, when I say added sugars, so added sugars are sugars and syrups that are put into foods and drinks during that processing period and preparation. So they are not sugars that are naturally found in fruit, which is fructose sugar, and then dairy, which is lactose. So these are extras. So they're not naturally occurring, but they're put in during that processing or preparation. So things like brown sugar, high fructose corn syrup, table sugar, which is sucrose, honey, maple syrup, agave syrup, molasses, just to name a few. So when we're thinking about beverages, wanting to stay hydrated, definitely consider sugar. And of course, the only way to know that is if you can look at the nutrition facts label. Okay, so where does our daily sugar come from? So you can see here the sugar sweetened beverages. So this is the largest category of how we're consuming sugar. So it's about 24%, which the largest category being 16% soda. And obviously, desserts and sweet snacks is about 19%. But something to keep in mind, so these are the recommendations of how much sugar that we should be consuming daily. So I'm sure, especially as Americans or whatnot, we're definitely consuming a lot more than this. But it's something to keep in mind for men. They should consume no more than 9 teaspoons. So this is 36 grams or 150 calories of added sugar per day. And then for women, it's a little bit less. So it's about 6 teaspoons or 25 grams or 100 calories per day. So again, going back to that nutrition facts label, which it has it in grams, you can definitely, try to determine how much that you're consuming daily. Okay, so this is sugar by the numbers. So how much are you drinking? So one 20-ounce soda has about around 17 teaspoons of sugar. Coca-Cola has about 16 teaspoons. Mountain Dew has a lot more or has more, 19 teaspoons of sugar. So that's definitely more sugar than a slice of cake. So basically, when you are consuming soda, it adds about, around 240 kind of empty calories is what we call them. So it provides calories, but not a lot of nutrients on top of that. So if you're drinking about 1 to 2 sugary drinks daily, this can increase type 2 diabetes risk by 26%. So again, when we're trying to stay hydrated, and there's many of us, I'm sure, that do drink soda and those sugary beverages, this is something to keep in mind, the sugar content. Okay, so how sweet is it? So 4 grams of sugar is about 1 teaspoon of sugar. And so the question is, would you dump about 10 to 19 teaspoons of sugar into your 20-ounce glass of water? So does that sound like too much? And obviously that is a lot of teaspoons, so something to keep in mind. All right. So again, going back to soda and sugar sweetened beverages, we talk about empty calories. So again, these give us calories, and obviously our body needs calories to function. But again, there's virtually no other nutrients that we need as well. So what happens here is that if we are drinking those sugar sweetened beverages, there's a lack of satiety or fullness compared to eating the same calories from solid food. And what that does is that it may spike your blood sugar up and then drop it, and then can lead to a whole bunch of other issues where we're really hungry or hangry and we're grabbing stuff that we probably shouldn't consume a lot of like cake, cookies, or whatnot just to help us feel satisfied. So it definitely interferes with that blood sugar stability. So so thinking about beverages, obviously water, best way to go. And again, something to keep in mind that people don't eat less food when they drink high calorie drinks. So an average can of sugar sweetened soda provides about 150 calories, mostly from added sugar, but if you were just to drink 1 can every day and not cut back on calories elsewhere, you could gain up to 5 pounds per year. So again, going back to what is the best beverage to consume, it is water, but we'll discuss in a little bit different ways to make it a little more flavorful. Water, if you, don't like to drink water or it doesn't seem, I don't know, it just seems, obviously water is bland, but try to make it more flavorful. Okay, and something I also want to mention, I don't know if anybody's heard of the term functional beverage, but so what this means is that these are beverages that claim health benefits beyond basic nutrition. So things like gives you energy, so like Red Bull, Monster, and those types of things, which generally have a lot of added sugar in them, but also with gut health, so kombucha, kefir, pre and probiotic shots, which these can be good things for good. Well, these are good things for the gut. With cognitive and focus, mushroom coffee, mushroom lattes have been kind of popular, but those have what the health benefits that they claim is to help you focus more and helps with brain health. With hydration, there's a lot of different products with electrolyte waters, coconut water, and then relaxation, a lot of magnesium-based drinks as well. So if you're hearing the term functional beverage, this is what this means. So basically, again, beverages that claim health benefits beyond that basic nutrition in a variety of different areas. And then going to energy drinks. So I know a lot of you, not a lot of you, but some of you said that you drink coffee and maybe other type of beverages. But so The energy drinks do provide energy, but however, they can make us feel very jittery. So there are a high source of caffeine. So how much is too much? So they say around 200 or so milligrams per day. They also are a high source of sugar and artificial sweeteners. Sometimes they add different herbs like ginseng or extras like B vitamins. However, if you are drinking energy drinks constantly, they definitely can interrupt your sleep. So a lot of sleep disturbances, heart palpitations can lead to dehydration because you kind of are urinating more, but also energy crashes as well. So especially if you're drinking a lot of them in the morning, you'll definitely have that energy crash in the afternoon, which is, makes you feel tired and not so good. So we want to kind of prevent that. So again, going back to the best beverage, trying to incorporate water, which if we're drinking enough water will give us the energy that we need. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the beverages with added sugars and energy drinks, but let's talk about what your body really needs for overall health. So instead of energy drinks and providing which provide caffeine, we want to prioritize sleep. So trying to get at least 7 hours or more a night. So sleep over caffeine, definitely water over sugar, and balance meals instead of like constant snacking or drinking your energy. So balanced meals, so protein or a quarter of your plate being protein, a quarter of it being those whole grains, and half of it being the fruits and vegetables. So really trying to think about balanced meals, which will give us the energy that we need. And then hydration, overstimulation. So again, going back to those energy drinks, we want to just try to stay hydrated and it should give us the energy that we need. But also signs that you're overdoing your sugar in your beverages or I guess in your everyday diet. You will have a lack of energy, definitely increased cravings, mood swings, so being very irritable, weight gain, and then can also lead to some skin issues as well. So what our body really needs, again, we want sleep, water, for staying hydrated, those balanced meals, and then obviously staying hydrated. Also, something to keep in mind too, especially with this time of year, with all the delicious in-season produce, trying to incorporate foods with high water content that add a lot of color, which gives us antioxidants, crunch, also fiber and taste, but they're also a good source of water, which can provide us with hydration. So if you're eating a lot of salads, this is, helps you to stay hydrated. But cucumbers are 95% water. Even things like radishes, which can be a hydrating snack option. Tomatoes, which is one of my favorites this time of year because they're super delicious. So that can provide different meals, recipes with a lot of juicy or can be a juicy and hydrating additions to salads, sandwiches, and sauces. Bell peppers can add some hydration and vibrant color to dishes. I don't know if anybody likes watermelon, which is also one of my favorites this time of year, but it has 91% water. So definitely you can eat that just by itself, but help you to get that water that you need. And then some spinach and broccoli can provide fiber and other various nutrients. So again, think about that too. If you don't feel like you are staying hydrated or water's hard to get in throughout the day, try to incorporate it into different meals, some produce options. And of course, establishing a hydration routine. I know for myself, life can get very busy, which I'm sure life is busy for all of you too. But trying to stay with a consistent routine with hydration is very important because sometimes we forget to drink during the day and then we're trying to cram it in at night. Maybe we're up all night trying, going to the bathroom or whatever. It's just good to try to, do it throughout the day, which actually that's my other poll question I wanted to ask all of you. Let me pull it up quick. Okay, so we're talking about establishing routines. Do you carry a water bottle with you during the day? So this can be like, it can be plastic water bottle or those reusable water bottles with a straw. I will say this is one of the best ways to just try to get in that hydration through the day. If you have something sitting right there, it's just easy to kind of sip it throughout the day. All right, let's see what everybody said. I'm going to end the poll. All right, so there's A lot of you that say always, but then sometimes, and then for those of you that said never, definitely consider trying to do it because it definitely helps with trying to get in that water intake that we need throughout the day. So that's good. Thank you for answering that. All right. So with our morning routine, you can always begin a day with a glass of water. Sometimes they suggest doing that before you have your cup of coffee. Just try to have a glass of water. You can always enhance it with some lemon or cucumber. Sometimes this just makes you become more awake with like the kind of the scent or whatnot of the lemon, but definitely you can begin your day with a glass of water, and then throughout the day you can keep a reusable water bottle on handy. You can even set reminders on your phone to keep drinking it. But usually when you get into a routine, it's just easier to think about, or like maybe not even think about taking a sip. You're just kind of doing it if you can establish that routine. And then at meal times, prior to each meal, you can always hydrate by drinking a glass of water to aid digestion, but also curb maybe overeating. Physical activity, if you're doing a lot of that, especially in the summer months, you want to remember to hydrate before, during, and after your workout. And again, having that water bottle nearby. And then with the evening routine, you can maintain hydration levels by having a glass of water before bedtime to prevent that overnight dehydration, because that's yeah, I never like waking up during the middle of the night and you do feel like really dehydrated and it's hard to go back to sleep. So definitely establish that hydration routine if you can. So some healthy swaps, instead of plain water, you can try some other ways to get in some better for you options. You can do a green or herbal tea, which if you are a coffee drinker, if you're drinking a lot of coffee and you're kind of feeling dehydrated from it, you can always do a green and herbal tea, which can also make you more alert. You can incorporate some smoothies, and this helps us to get more of a balanced diet that we need, adding in some protein into that. There's some protein-based drinks with less sugar in them. You can infuse water, which I'll show you a chart on different ways to do that. Unsweetened tea or iced coffee with a splash of milk. You can do 100% juice, but important to keep in mind that you don't need a whole lot of it, but 4 to 6 ounces, because if you go more than that, you could be getting, a little too much. Or you could do a do-it-yourself sports drink with water, a little pinch of salt, and a splash of orange juice as well. So if you are getting kind of tired of those, of just plain water, these are some options. And these are some products too that I just wanted to mention in store that we have. So we have our brand seltzer water. It comes in a variety of different flavors. We have Nature's Promise unsweetened flavored water, which this is our watermelon. You can see over here on the right-hand side. But I always like the cucumber one. I think that tastes really good. I don't know if anybody's had that, but definitely check those out. Or Nature's Promise also has organic unsweetened green and black iced tea as well. So if you're trying to switch it up a little bit, those are some options. Like what I mentioned before, with some how to infuse water to make it a little bit more flavorful, you can either use these seltzers or you can just use plain water just as your base. So if you want to start with plain water, you can do a combination like orange, thyme, and orange juice. You could do pineapple, mint, and a lime slice, some watermelon, basil, and blueberries, cucumber, rosemary, lemon, or like melon, mint, and then grape juice as well. So you can do a variety of different options to help you stay hydrated and, make it a little more flavorful, because I know that it can definitely be, it may be bland after a while. So those are some ones to keep in mind. So these are some savory recipe inspirations for hydration. So just wanted to mention these just to kind of get you thinking outside the box. So the first one we mentioned about smoothies is a nice way to stay hydrated. So this gets 2 guiding stars. So a lot of good nutrition in this one. It does have 16 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber. So this is an oatmeal and berry smoothie. There's a lot of different smoothie recipes out there right now that are incorporating oats, which is a great source of fiber, helps incorporate a whole grain. Okay, so for this one is Greek yogurt, which helps to provide that protein, some rolled oats, a ripe banana, some berries, some skim milk, or you can use whatever milk that you would like, a little bit of honey, and then vanilla extract. So that's one option if you're trying to stay hydrated, but again, gets 2 guiding stars. The next one I have made, and it was very delicious. But basically, you want to puree up your frozen strawberries, And obviously the strawberries are thawed, then you puree it with um, some lime juice and then the water ice. And then you can either do a plain sparkling water or a lime seltzer. So you're going to mix that up and then you can top it off with some mint. But this one gets 3 guiding stars, but a nice way to incorporate that hydration that we need. And I love strawberry mint combination. I think that is super delicious. And then the last one, and I love blueberry basil too, is a nice pairing as well. So for this one, it gets 3 guiding stars. So this is some blueberries, basil, green tea, and lemon. And you can either, and then some ice, you're going to blend that together. Um, and then you can do a splash of Nature's Promise blueberry or lemon sparkling water or lemon flavored seltzer, which is a nice addition. This is, yeah, especially for this time of year, especially with basil, like fresh basil, this will taste really good. But again, gets 3 guiding stars. So just providing some recipes to get you thinking about some different ways to help our body stay hydrated. All right. So, of course, hydration is such a broad topic, and I could really even go more into depth on everything. But the takeaway from this is that hydration isn't just a summer wellness buzzword. It's definitely a low effort, high impact way to keep your brain sharp, your body energized, and your day running smoothly. And also important to remember to keep that bottle nearby, mix it up with fun flavors, and then sip your way through the heat. And always remember, we want our bodies to stay cool and well hydrated to help with energy. And always keep in mind too about the beverages that we're consuming with the added sugar, if it has caffeine in it, which may interfere with how our body functions. All right. Let me go to the Q&A.